Hi, I'm Bridget from Sydney Fish Market, and today we're going to talk about squid. You may not be aware that calamari is a type of squid, but not all squid are calamari. So how can you tell? It's the length of the flaps. So if you have a look here, the flaps go the full length of the body. That's a calamari. But like all good rules, there's an exception. And the exception to the rule is this one here, which is often sold as a calamari, and that's because the flesh is quite thin, and because of that it's a little bit more tender. The flaps on these ones will go halfway down the length of the body. The next one here, the Gould squid, it's got short flaps right at the top. The flesh is a lot thicker, so it means that you've got to be very careful about the cooking because it can easily overcook and become tough. The preparation and the cooking for all of these exactly the same. So we'll prepare one in a minute, but the cooking is either a very high temperature and very fast, meaning 1 to 2 minutes until the flesh turns white, or very low and slow cooking, which means it could take 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on the size of it, until it's melt in your mouth tender. And the alternatives, you can use baby octopus and you can use cuttlefish, and we'll prepare those in another segment. So let's get started on the squid. So this one here is known as lollygo squid, and it's got the flaps that go halfway down the length of the body. It's got 2 eyeballs, 8 little legs, 2 long legs. So what you need to do is grab above the eyes and pull. Put your finger inside the tube, and I mean just inside. Do not go walkabout because you can find all sorts of things in there, fish with spines and spikes. Run your finger around the inside of the tube till you find the hard bit, go behind the hard bit, grab hold of it and pull it out. This is the quill, that's what's been holding him up straight. Now if it breaks, because often this much will come out and you'll leave the rest of it in there, don't worry, we're going to open it up so we can get it out later. All right, this is the tricky bit now. Grab hold of one flap on the underside where it's white. Stick your thumb in and make a hole. Make it as big as the flap. You can see the clean flesh in underneath. Start to pull that flesh out. You can see I'm twisting the tube out, and as I am, my thumb is going underneath the skin without breaking it, all the way through to the other side. You can see daylight. Pull the two apart and use those flaps to pull straight down. How easy is that? Don't throw your flaps out. They are edible. Just take off the excess skin. There's a little bit of extra skin there in the middle. You've got 2 flaps. Peel from the middle. Just go peel straight through to the outside. If a little bit of the skin gets left on the outside, don't worry. All you need to do is just get a damp cloth or paper towel and wipe fairly firmly. It comes off really easily. You can actually leave the skin on. People just expect to see the flesh white. There is a hard bit of flesh along the long side of the flap. Just put your thumb in underneath, pull from the middle, and once again it should take the whole lot off. If a little bit breaks off, like it has there, just go back and pull that off. Okay, that would be the preparation of the flap. You do the same thing with the second side. That's all our rubbish. The tube. Just lay your tube flat, cut it open. You can cut it up into little rings. Cut it up into little rings like this, but if you've ever had the experience of eating those little calamari rings, sometimes you get what tastes like a rubber band on the inside. That is this membrane here. It shrinks at a different rate to the flesh, and it actually is what makes it go quite rubbery and chewy. So I think it's much better to forego the rings, cut it open, and actually do a different style. So what we need to do is just get some paper towel, wipe fairly firmly. Now a little tip when you are wiping, what you need to do, just get rid of all my rubbish here, wipe sideways. Sideways meaning go from this side to that side fairly firmly. If you go top to bottom, you tend to put that membrane back in the same place. So wipe fairly firmly. Now have a look at this. Can you see what we're taking off? That bit there. That's the part that can make it go quite chewy. So wipe all of that off. You can do it on both sides. Now what we want to do, and keep your chopping board clean. If you get any black ink on your chopping board, it's just the little ink sac and these little creatures that they put into the water to get away from their enemies. So it can cloud the water, and it also can make a bit of a mess on your chopping board. It's a natural dye. If you've ever had squid ink pasta or any of those things, that's where they use it. Okay, now you can cut it into strips, or we can do what's called scoring. You score diagonal lines all the way across on the inside of the flesh, and if you can't tell which is the inside and the outside now because it's all just a big piece of white, the inside is the softer side. So little diagonal slashes all the way across, and then cut it up into bite-sized pieces. So down the middle, and then just across into bite-sized pieces, remembering it will shrink a little bit when it cooks, so don't make it too small. As it cooks, those little bits will open up and curl, and the other really important thing is putting the slashes in. It is a form of tenderising, so it makes your flesh nice and tender. Don't waste the legs. Here are the eyeballs, the 8 little legs, the 2 long legs. We're going to chop it on the chopping board between the eyes and the legs. So put your fingers over the eyes. People don't like that bit, but if you don't do that, you'll cut through the eyes. Push between the middle of the legs. There's the little beak. Looks like a bit of shell. Just take that whole little bubble out. You can cook that as a whole, but you can see the legs are a little bit thinner than the middle bit, so I suggest you cut through the middle to make it all even cooking. And then the whole lot can go straight onto your barbecue, into the fry pan, or you can do your low-slow cooking. Enjoy.